This is Carl Eller, and you're watching the One Bar and Lepagas show.
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lepagas show. I'm One Bar with Lepagas, and we've busted out a few coach candidate videos today. And you know what? We put the cart before the horse. Before we get a coach, we need a GM. So we're going to be talking about 5 possible candidates for the Vikings GM spot.
That was one of your best intros ever. Well done.
Really? Thank you.
Yeah, and it's not as easy. Like, you don't hear all these GM candidates being listed like on ESPN or wherever or on Twitter. It's you got to dig a little deeper to find out who may be in the running to be the Vikings' new GM. But I believe we came up with 5.
Yeah, and let's be clear. I mean, like Lepagas just said, there is a lengthy list. And even when you have these lists, all of a sudden somebody goes and hires Mike Mayock. So it's not even, you don't usually see these names. So some of these names that we're going to talk about, they've been floating around in years past. So we're not going to pretend we know everything about these GMs. We're just giving some names to get comfortable with.
Yeah. So don't look for in-depth analysis here. Just get some names on your radar.
Before we get into that, subscribe to the channel. We are so damn close to 4,500 subscribers. Like the video, Patreon link in the description.
Smells like balls.
Smells like balls. Speaking of balls, let's talk about some GMs. All right, let's start off with a familiar name, not a familiar name, familiar last name, Elliot Wolf. Elliot Wolf, who is currently the front office consultant for the Patriots. The reason why he is familiar, he is the son of former Packers GM Ron Wolf. Ronald, to you.
That's where my connection first came. I heard the name Elliot Wolf, son of Ronald, huh? So interesting there. Ron Wolf, kind of a legendary GM, some great acquisitions with the Packers. The guys he traded for, some of the guys he drafted. Was he the one who executed the Brett Favre trade for a second-round pick or whatever the hell it was? I don't remember what the deal was. He was in the second round. I don't know if he traded for a second-round pick, but
Still
Ron Wolf. I'm just saying. I mean, that is you want to have your dad be a good GM. That's some good bloodlines right there for Elliot. Yeah,
and he's worked his way up. He was a scout for the Packers for 14 years. They actually almost hired him as their GM before they got what's-his-nuts, who's there right now. But he was also a big part of the Patriots, a big part of the Patriots rebuilding their team this year, and that has panned out pretty well. So Elliot Wolf, young buck too, only 39.
We'll say if we hire him.
Next up, spoiler alert, this might be one of my favorites out of the bunch. Mike Borgonzi, assistant general manager for the Kansas City Chiefs. He knew it was only a matter of time before some of these Chiefs front office guys started to get some love, seeing what they've done. Borgonzi.
The Chiefs, these guys, look at they found in the draft last year in Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, 2 of the best O-linemen in the entire class, arguably already starting to be some of the better young offensive linemen in the entire NFL. The veterans they were able to bring in and sign. This is a team that identifies needs. They're not afraid to make the changes. They cut their entire O-line last year, have all new guys. So you love seeing that accountability, and that comes from the front office. So I'll be all up for Mr. Mike Borgonzi.
And he just looks like kind of a badass. And he was promoted to their assistant GM this year. You mentioned their drafts. Well, he had a lot to do with that draft class. He had a lot to do with drafting Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. And then also this year, the guys you already mentioned, Humphrey, Nick Bolton, and Trey Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a big part of that. Peter Schrager, whether you love him or not, says he is the Chiefs' secret weapon.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not a big Pete Schrager guy, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm a big Mike Borgonzi guy. Next up, familiar name, Thomas Dimitroff. We all know who he is. Was with the Falcons for 12 years, was part of the New England tree as well.
Yeah, he built the Falcons up into a contender. I love the move he made to go up and get Julio Jones back there in the draft. Instead of settling for, lesser talent, he said, we need this guy. He went up and got him. He's a superstar for him. So I'd be all aboard with having that experienced, crusty Tom Dimitroff as our GM.
Yeah, Krusty, he still cleans up well. He has had some pretty dog shit draft picks as well. We won't go into that because this is a positive video. But him and Dan Quinn both got fired if they started off 0-5. But the thing with him, the Falcons every year, it seemed like they would be like 13-3, and then the next year they would be 4-12, and then they would be like kind of like the Vikings. A lot of up and down there.
Yeah, that's one extreme to the other, though. That's worse than we ever saw with the Vikings.
He did get to the Super Bowl. They might not have won, but he did very well. So he'll be a name looking to get back in the mix. And before we go any further, can we agree There's 3 vacancies right now: Bears, Giants, Vikings. By far and away, the Vikings is the most attractive.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we
100%.
should have our pick.
Yeah. They should come to us. We don't have to go out there and try to search and go on Indeed.com. They should be pounding the door.
They should be pounding the door. Speaking of pounding the door, this guy, hot name, one of the hottest names last year, actually opted to just kind of wait it out, kept his spot with the Colts. Ed Dodds, the assistant general manager with the Colts, like I said, was a top candidate last year, spent 10 years with the Seahawks as their big boom, big role there in the Super Bowl. He had a big part of that and is considered one of the top talent evaluators in the NFL.
Well, look at his last draft class: Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Darius Leonard a few years back. I mean, this guy brings in talent, and he got the Colts. I'm shocked the Colts didn't make the playoffs. I still can't believe how they were playing.
It's not Ed's fault. It's not Ed's.
It's not Ed's fault.
It's even shitty quarterback of theirs.
He got a Xavier Rhodes on a cheap deal, and he turned out to be great. So the guy's making good moves. He made the Colts competitive. You can argue the Carson Wentz deal wasn't great, but they got themselves a starting quarterback for not a whole hell of a lot. So yeah, what's his name again? Ed
freaking Dodds. And what I love about him, I had no idea he was part of the whole Seattle building that whole team. I mean, he was a big part of it.
Wait, was he making Seattle's first round picks? Because if he is, I want nothing to do with him.
Well, Super Bowl. He was there when
he was making their second round picks, and then I like him a little bit more. But their first round picks are ass.
Well, I know somebody you do like, and that's Louis Riddick.
I do like Louis Riddick, and just you watch him during the draft, and his analysis. He knows everything he's talking about, knows all these guys ins and outs. He's very honest about their opinions and their evaluations. He doesn't hold back. Watching him analyze Baker Mayfield, he was not kind to Baker, and I like that about Louis. He doesn't hold. He gives you how he sees it, so he's not gonna bullshit you and make you feel better. If you suck, he will tell you he sucks. And I think he could make some good decisions here. We'll see. He doesn't have a ton of experience, which is a little bit of a red flag to me, but I'd be okay with Louis, seeing what he can bring to the table.
Yeah, he was with Washington, he was with Philly, he was the director of pro personnel, but when you kind of stack him up next to these other guys, everybody loves Louis Riddick because of why you said he's a great TV personality. Does that translate to a great GM? Nobody will know until they give him a shot. And he's made it very clear he wants to be back in the NFL. No ifs, ands, or buts.
You look at Mike Mayock, I mean, same kind of thing coming from an analyst. He goes to the GM role. Yeah, they're in the playoffs right now, but a lot of his picks, I mean, especially his early picks, haven't quite panned out. So we'll see. Louis Riddick.
Panned out, they suck.
Well, I mean, the jury's still out on Alex Leatherwood, but it's not good. It's not a good start.
Oh, Mayock's not. You can't even compare him. He didn't even have any experience. I did throw one in here just because I used to love this guy, and he's actually he's a pretty hot name as well. Every list you look on, he's on it. And that is Dan Morgan, the former linebacker. He is currently the assistant general manager for the Panthers, and he's been around. He was with Seattle, he's with Bills for a handful of years, and now with Carolina Panthers. Hot name.
Dan Morgan. I had no idea he was in a front office role. I remember when he was drafted. Wow, and now he's going to be one making those decisions. That's crazy. I think Dan Morgan is a front office guy. But look at the success John Lynch has had. So maybe it does help to have a guy who's been on the field, played, to kind of evaluate your talent and make the picks and know what your team needs and the kind of guys who fit that team to actually have lived it himself. So Dan Morgan, interesting.
Yeah, what I love about him is he actually started from the ground up. He went to Seattle and was a scouting intern and worked his way up. He didn't just all of a sudden just be handed this job. He worked for it.
And you know what they say? Morgan goes straight to the organ.
I do know what they say. I do. So those are our 5 and 5B players, or not players, GMs. If there's one of these guys that stick out to you or somebody we completely missed on, absolutely let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We'll do our research and get them on our want list or our watch list. Well, we're compiling our watch list. Remember this: hot water freezes faster than cold water.